Good afternoon. My name is Angel Urbina from Urbitech Systems, and we are having a presentation today about IT on nursing homes and the regulations that apply to nursing homes. A little bit about us. My name is Angel Urbina. We created a company to provide IT and cybersecurity services to small and medium businesses in Florida. And we also provide services for companies in Puerto Rico. Right now, we're in the process of expanding and getting more technicians and salespeople so we can serve more small businesses. So the important part here is how these places need to comply with federal regulations, and we can help you be able to comply with those regulations. So let's get into the matters here. We're going to have why it matters to know the regulations and comply, HIPAA, HITECH, CMS, and all the regulations that apply. So what are those regulations? It's not that every month somebody will show up in your nursing home and check your systems and see if you're compliant. But the moment that you are attacked by a hacker and information of your patients is compromised on the internet, that's the moment that your liability will enter into place. Is when the federal government, especially the FBI, cybersecurity, will start investigating. And the first thing that they will check if your systems were in compliance. One of the things that we need to understand, no system is 100% secure in terms of hackers. They're always looking for vulnerabilities. And we, the service providers, are always looking for new vulnerabilities and how to fix it before your system can be compromised. And the other aspect that we implement is layers of security. The first layer anywhere is a firewall. It's a device that filters all the internet traffic into your network and eliminates all the traffic that is not supposed to be there. It's like if you have a security guard in your door and only let in the people that needs to be there. In your case, patients, uh, vendors, and family of the patients that you have in your nursing home. Anybody else that doesn't have a reason to be there will not be let in. So the same thing happens with a firewall. It will filter the traffic, and anything that is not supposed to be there, it will not let it pass. In addition to that, we have what is called rules, and those rules may taking into consideration attacks that we already know about it. The second layer of that protection is the endpoint protection software. We used to call antivirus, but the antivirus is a limited kind of software. Right now, we need software that takes into consideration not only files and how they behave, but also hidden information on files, software that is executable. All those things are being checked by endpoint protection, and not only based on signatures of viruses, but also on behavior. So we cover all of that. So why that matters? You need to protect resident privacy and data, prevent legal and financial penalties, enhance operational efficiency, and support quality of care. So when you have a system in a nursing home, you need to have clinical information, resident information, and next of kin, point of contact from basically family members. All of that has to be in a central system. When your doctors and nurses need to find out clinical information, they will go to that system, look at the patient, and it will have medication, conditions, the latest labs and studies. All the information has to be accessible. Some people have laptops, tablets, uh, and depending on how those are connected, you have a possibility of attack. One of the things that is basically used is the most common thing is Wi-Fi. You need Wi-Fi because you have wireless equipment like tablets, laptops for people running around the facility. But the problem is Wi-Fi poses a threat. Anybody within reach of that Wi-Fi that can have access to that signal, if it's not properly protected, they can get in. So there are many ways to secure Wi-Fi, not only with a password, but also encryption. Plus, you can hide your Wi-Fi name. You can set up rules that not every device can get connected. There is ways that those Wi-Fi routers can be secure, and there is routers that are cheap that doesn't have those security features. So when we go to your facility, we will look at everything that you have, all the equipment, and we will provide an assessment. We have a protocol network detective that will go and scan all devices in your network, and it will check for vulnerabilities. And also we have a penetration testing software that we check your system and identify all possible vulnerabilities that your computers, your servers, and your Wi-Fi has. So going back to the regulations, HIPAA covers what is health insurance information, and HITECH is health information technology. CMS for Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, and long-term facilities. So the moment that someone has access to clinical information is a violation of HIPAA. So if your facility is not protected and anybody can access that information, you're liable. The fines are extremely high, plus the possibility of lawsuits from family members. So it's really important that we cover all possibilities on your system. So HIPAA and data security protected health information, requires physical, administrative, and technical safeguards, applies to all staff accessing and handling digital records. That can be through tablet, laptop, desktops, and it can be accessed through wired communication or wireless communications. So you need to be able to have everything secure so you can comply with HIPAA. HITECH Act encourages meaningful use of certified EHRs, promotes interoperability. Interoperability is that your information from your system be able to communicate with Medicaid, Medicare, information that you can have. You can transfer information to those agencies. Computerized records must be secure, readily retrievable, and auditable. What is readily retrievable is that if you need to see a record of a patient, you just look that patient up and you're able to see it. You don't have to go through different systems to get some information here, some information there. Everything has to be accessible. And you need to have documentation on your system. That means that you need to have where the information is located, where the files are stored, if the files are backed up, how they can be accessed, who can access those records. All that documentation has to be in binders in your facility, also stored on your backup files. That way, everything is secure in case something happens in your facility. The 42 CFR, the mandates timely access to resident records, requires systems to prevent unauthorized access. Nursing homes must train staff in data privacy and security. I'm going to give you an example of data privacy and security. For example, a patient's family member comes to the facility and says, "Oh, I'm worried about my father's sugar. Can you send me an email with the latest lab results?" That is health private information. You cannot send that from Gmail or Yahoo Mail. You need to have a secure email service that you can send those records encrypted to that family member that is entitled to see those files. That's how you can protect the privacy. We are here to help you to get all those things and train your staff how to avoid weak passwords on encrypted devices. Right now, many people like to have their phones and tablets in the workplace and use the Wi-Fi so they can go in on the internet. That sounds nice, but it causes a problem. You cannot have unauthorized devices on your network. If you're going to use a device in the network and you prefer to use an iPad instead of a laptop, that can be used, but it has to be secure. It has to be part of the network, and all the necessary security updates has to be in place. One of the things that we will help you to implement is role-based access. That means that, let's have an example here. Doctors and nurses are able to access all the clinical records, but the front desk person, the only thing that needs to access is patient's name, room number, and who is allowed to visit, for example, but not the clinical information. That's how you separate the access. Encryption and certified software, also that we provide those consulting services. And backups. We recommend to have backups in your facility, plus also backups outside your facility. For example, your facility gets damaged by a hurricane or a fire or any of those, probably like a electrical surge that damage your computers and your servers. You can have in a separate location all that information. We also provide what is called co-location, that we have a backup of all your systems, and in case of an emergency, you can access your system through our servers like you were is in your facility. We have that technology available for you. In case of a hurricane and you cannot have your systems up and running, we can provide access to your files and all your systems. Other important thing, in case you are attacked, that breach has to be reported within 60 days. Document all the incidents, and individuals need to be notified. We also help you with that. When we provide services to nursing homes, that's one of the things. In case of a breach that happens, we will do the investigation, the forensic investigation, and we will determine exactly what happened, who attacked that nursing home, and we will provide all that information to the proper authorities, in this case, the FBI and Homeland Security, so those individuals can be prosecuted and you are in compliance with all the necessary regulations. So in order to be compliant, all devices has to be secure. The software that is used has to be compliant with HIPAA. You need to have access control and logs, so that way you can know exactly who accessed the information and when, how your staff is trained and keep those records, and all the policies and procedures has to be written and accessible. If you have all of that, you're in compliance with federal regulations, and we provide assistance in all of these aspects. Here are the list of resources that you can go to get more information about the federal regulations. I'm going to give it a moment so you can take notes, or you can even pause the video and copy those that information. If you have any questions, you can contact us. You can visit urbitechsystems.com, call us at 813-412-5531, or you can send an email to sales.agent@urbitechsystems.com. Thank you for participating in this. Good thing is you can watch this at any moment in YouTube or Facebook, and you can when you go to our website, you will be able to see all the services that we provide. Thank you for participating.